And you're fired.
Boom.
Do this. I think we're live. I don't even know. Oh shit! Wrong button.
Oh, you did a thing.
Did you say record locally?
No, we're live. I hit the wrong button. We're live. Whatever. What do we normally say when we start this show? I don't even know.
Welcome to Tech Talk number 157. Whatever, I guess is what we're
So that's how the day goes.
We had 2 weeks off, so obviously Josh is in studio with us. Nick's right arm is back there over Josh's left shoulder, and then Anna's back there somewhere. Anna, like wave a foot or something. We'll see your foot. There's her foot.
There it goes.
All right.
Probably Vans.
What? What does that have to do? How could I share this one camera with Skype and OBS?
And I'm
And I'm going to go ahead and run the intro. Oh, everyone's saying they can't hear you now. I don't know. Hold on. I guess we're going to do live tech support like we normally do.
You could try muting it for like an hour or so.
No, I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, just try muting him for an hour? Is that what you said?
See what happens there.
Yeah, it's set up. No, I think I know what it is. Hold on. See, if I do this. Yeah, the desktop audio. You know how OBS is like desktop audio thing will like freak out and not. Yeah, it's doing that. Hold on. Ay, ay, ay. Can I go home now?
I think we technically did tech talk.
I mean, we did. I mean, people are talking in chat like they can't hear me, so we have confirmation Tech Talk did happen.
Okay, you're good now. We hear you.
All right. What I don't get is why could you guys hear me perfectly fine, but to everybody else it was all fucked up? Did you have like a level in OBS wrong, or
No, OBS was set to the right, sound mixer. But then all I did was like set it to something else and set it back, and then hit save, and it worked.
All right, there we go. There we go.
Things and stuff.
Orlando said just do sign language. I would if I knew ASL, but I don't.
I don't even know what it was. What were you talking about? Oh, you were talking about cam girls and cam setups and stuff. I see.
Yeah. I was saying if you want to split a camera, one camera between two programs, you have to use like one of those cam splitter programs, like Many Cams, or there's another one that does it that I don't know of. There's a free one that doesn't work for shit.
I just like how you went straight to cam girl was the idea of the practical use.
Well, that's where I learned it from. So like that'd be practical, right?
Are you a cam girl or something that we don't know about?
I mean, at my current testosterone levels, I certainly qualify for one.
You don't have low testosterone. You just have a high estrogen.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Is my man titties just coming from high estrogen?
So, guys, we got Josh here. He's still in town. As you guys know, we finished his build yesterday. We may or may not have screwed something up and had to take it all back apart today and made another video about that.
It's all tests. See if the audience
We just wanted
Josh, did he drill holes through the board again?
No.
Did he drill holes through the board?
Actually worked out okay this time. That wasn't the problem, if there was a problem.
We just wanted to see how many of our mistakes the audience could pick up on, kind of like those, compare these two images and point out the differences. Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Oh, gotcha. Where's Waldo Technology Edition? I gotcha.
Yeah, it's kind of like, what's different with this one? Like this whale has, 3 eyelids or eyelashes, where the other picture has 2, kind of a thing. Like real subtle things.
Yeah, really just kind of, looking at the audience retention and how deeply they view the video and how much they pay attention as opposed to having it on second monitor and not watching it. We got the metrics back. Everything's good.
Well, I can't argue with that logic since like one of my most popular videos I ever did is called Diablo. That like every comment on the video, all 10,000 of them was like, you don't know how to pronounce the goddamn game.
As long as I've known you pronounce things wrong though.
I do. It's
like
just
Vegas. I'm gonna go to Las Vegas.
Go to Las
Yamaha.
Vegas. Hey, that's my. Don't make fun of my accent or speech impediment. Depends on how much I want you to feel sorry for me.
It's like Yamaha.
I was like Seattle,
dude, it's
Washington.
my Seattle accent. Okay, God damn it.
Is there a Northwest accent?
Not that I'm aware of, because I wouldn't know it. Like I would. I've never heard anybody say, "Damn,
is there a Midwest accent?" Oh yeah, don't you know?
That's more like a Wisconsin thing.
But isn't that
Wisconsin,
like
northern
Midwest, or is that Plains?
I don't know. I mean, whenever you're from a place, you don't think there's an accent. You go somewhere, oh man, you got an accent. You know, like, you got a radio voice. What the hell does that mean?
You got a face
for
You got a
radio.
face for radio, my
Yes,
friend.
I do.
New York's a lot like that too. You go to New York and you hear people talking. You're like, wow, that is the thickest accent. I like the Brooklyn accent. That's like the thickest accent I've ever heard. And then they look at you like you're talking funny. I'm like,
William Nicholson in chat says it's Topless Taco Tuesday. It's Thursday, my friend.
dude, it's the topless
Yeah,
taco Tuesday is like gone.
Tuesday somewhere. No, it's not actually.
Oh my
That's
god.
how calendars work.
Wait,
Oh,
Well,
so
Jay-
Jay, what's this whatever shit about? Like, are we literally just talking about whatever?
Well, we always do, but you apparently had some topics we wanted to talk about that had to do with Microsoft, I guess.
Wait,
Well,
what?
you know, that's about the only thing I'm known for these days.
If anyone has like vidIQ or whatever going, you guys should look at the video tags. The live stream
God.
tags.
Did you mangle them?
No, I just
Let me
put,
see
I
if they
just put
pop
some,
over.
I just put some Easter eggs in there.
For those of you that cannot see the tags, I can see them. It's JayzTwoCents, Barnacles, followed by Microsoft and some shit as a phrase. And yes, he used to work at Microsoft as a phrase.
Oh, there goes Jerry again.
Oh, his internet got tired. Oh, he's back.
No, he's not back.
Oop.
It's gonna take a minute.
Want to go eat?
And then,
Time to end this shit.
We out. We did it.
God damn it, I'm right here.
I can't even type on my phone.
Hi from Germany. Hi from LA.
Oh my god.
I hear you, Jerry.
Thank you. At least somebody does.
You cut out for a while there, though.
That was weird because I could hear you guys like perfectly fine.
Talking shit.
Craig said, Jerry, you
Thank
okay?
God
You don't
he's
look so
gone.
well. I'm sick. I just went to the doctor today. I'm sick, man.
I go to the doctor and, because I have a cold, next thing I have a finger up my butt. Is that normal?
Well,
That is
go to
normal.
that.
Actually, that's been my experience.
Well, that's because you go to that freelance proctologist, though. The guy's got that van down there.
Yeah.
Never pick a urologist based on his height.
I go to the free clinic on the border.
Like, whoa, guys, just the border on LA and else.
Josh, my proctologist makes you look like a midget, and trust me, that does translate to finger length. I know firsthand.
He's all checking your tonsils through your butt.
Hey, guys,
Pretty much, like, yeah, Van Appledorn. What's pushing on the back of my teeth? Don't worry about it, Mr. Berg.
we can go ahead and cancel dinner plans for tonight. I think I'm good.
You want to go get some fudge?
Yeah, exactly. How about some
I'm like, what
cannolis?
tastes like shit? Don't worry about it.
Shit tickles your shit. Jay, check your donations. I can't see the donations. They don't show up for some reason for me. Yeah, there's no donations showing for me.
That's the next
but-
thing. Psych. Yeah, fuck.
No, seriously, the super chat donation things, guys. We don't really like promote that. I don't even encourage donations. So problem is, in the past, we used to be like, if you donate, we'll guarantee to read your comment. Then it turned into an hour and a half of reading donation comments. So we just kind of don't do that anymore. But oh yeah, Jerry froze again. Look at that. Either that or he's holding really
He
still.
is so freaking zen right now. It's impressive. Mm-hmm. He can probably still hear us though.
Do the Team America thing to keep it alive.
You just gotta keep moving. So you can hear it when you
Give us a
freeze,
sign.
When your uplink to us fails, you can still hear us.
Yeah, and it's not even degraded audio quality. You sound flawless.
Oh.
God damn it, Gary.
I have no fucking clue. You know what? I'm gonna go to old speed test and see if I'm dropping packets or something.
Oh,
on
he's
the
gonna
upstream.
speed test while he's connected to us.
Yeah,
Hey,
sure,
it got really crappy there for a second. I don't know why.
Dude. 9 ms and 250 megabits. So yeah, no, it's not my problem.
I do think.
Let's just blame Skype. And when I tell you what happened with Microsoft, who knows? Maybe it'll make more sense.
All right, go ahead and go. What's your Microsoft story?
All right, so today, Mr. Satya Nadella, you all know him as the CEO of Microsoft.
He's your
decided
bestie,
to send
right?
out. Huh?
He's your bestie, right?
He's my bestie. Like me and Satya go way back. I've cupped his balls gently before, on command. So, anyways, he decided that he's going to send out a huge mail to all the employees company-wide saying that they're going to basically restructure and shift around a bunch of divisions inside of Microsoft. Well, the one that really caught my eye was they are officially moving Windows, which used to be the top tier, like highest earner inside of Microsoft, like the biggest business. Like they came to the table, they ruled Microsoft. They have officially been moved under Azure as of today.
What is that?
The cloud services.
Oh, weird.
You know, like Microsoft, they call it Azure or Azure depending on who's pronouncing it.
Especially Jerry.
Especially me. I'll pronounce it 7 different ways before the show's over. But
It's all Azure.
Azure is basically their non-relational and relational database technology that's basically like competition to Amazon's AWS and whatever the fuck Google's is called.
Do you
Google
think
Cloud or whatever.
this is some sort of precursor as to what they're going to be doing with Windows?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, because the only reason that you would move Windows, not as a partner, but actually as a subordinate under a big data division, is because you plan to restructure the product to work into big data.
Well, there's always been rumors that Windows is going to turn into a strictly subscription-based OS.
Yes, that's actually been, rumors have been flying on that since about 2008, I think, was the company meeting that I was at, or Bill Gates, back when he still like gave a fuck about the company. He stood up in front of everybody at Safeco Field at the time and said, hey, guess what, everybody? We are going to move to a service-based Windows. And they figured out that they couldn't do it for whatever reason. There was just huge hurdles that they couldn't get over. Well, apparently now with Azure, the abundance of internet bandwidth and all these things, it looks like this is becoming a possibility. So we may see in the next 3 to 5 years a Windows version come out that is completely a dumb terminal, kind of like Chromebook is, but in the Windows space.
Is that good or bad?
But that's bad. That's really fucking bad. Okay, I guess it depends. Okay, I'm biased, right? Because Microsoft like kicked me to the curb, and I like kicking them in the nuts. It's just fun for me. But
when did that happen?
A couple of years ago. Let's not talk about it, you cocksucker.
He used to work at Microsoft?
Well, I don't know.
It was
true.
No, I worked at Saboro, but they closed down the cafe when they fired all the employees.
Saboro.
I went over to that Chipotle.
I hate you guys.
He went to the Saboro wearing a sombrero.
Cocksuckers. So what this means, though, and this is where things get a little scary, is in the same letter, and it's an open letter. He basically published it himself, so it's not like a leak or anything. It's on newsmicrosoft.com. The letter to everybody said that they're actually looking into cloud-based services and artificial intelligence and analysis of data for the purpose of helping people, more easily use their technology and move seamlessly between their phones and their Xboxes and their Windows and all that shit, right? Well, in a nutshell, if you read between the lines, that means that they want to be able to mobilize as much data as they can, or basically conglomerate it all together and use it to make your life easier. But that also means that they're going to be taking a lot more data. As we move forward, you're going to see Windows undoubtedly start collecting more and more data. However, they do numerous times throughout the email say that their priority is responsibility with personal data and responsibility to the customer's privacy and blah, 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 while achieving their goal of basically dominating the world with AI and data.
Well,
so
let me ask you this.
Sure.
What does that mean for always on? I mean, does that mean you're going to have an internet connection to be connected to your OS?
No, not at all. The way that they mitigated that a long time ago, because we all know that was fucked when SimCity came out, and like you could only play it when your internet was working, and then like your internet would crap out and the game would just be like, sorry, you can't play anymore. Right. The way that they mitigate it now is anytime that your computer isn't connected to the internet or doesn't have an available internet connection, it's basically caching and collecting data locally. And then once it does have an internet connection, in a one fell swoop, it can basically transact that data. The AI and business intelligence can run against it, and then it can cache the response back to the machine. So if it loses internet again, at least it has something to key off of.
Okay.
So the idea being is, because the always on thing's kind of bullshit, right? We all know anybody that has a Comcast internet connection has an uptime of about 3%. Most days,
and lots of tries to run a live show.
Not only that, I'm also thinking about, we do live in a world where there are lots of territories that still have data caps.
Right. But what this undoubtedly will mean is that you will need an internet connection of some kind, shape, or form within a period of time, which means whether they need to connect every month to verify your subscription or verify your activation, or for some reason, they're probably going to pressure you to get some kind of an internet connection, or they're going to have some really convoluted manual workaround where you're going to have to call a number and basically transact a fucking private key that's like 8,000 digits over the phone to get your registration to work. That's the only way I could see them doing this. And especially if they're trying to combat piracy, which everybody knows stealing Windows is like the easiest fucking thing to do on planet Earth, because Microsoft put the mechanism in place to allow you to do it, which is called manual activation. That still works to this day, even on Windows 10. You could activate the same copy of Windows 10 on 500 million machines if you're willing to just keep making that phone call over and over again.
Oh, yeah. You don't even need to make the phone call anymore. You can just use your smartphone. Because
really?
Now when you call, it goes, if you're calling from a smartphone, we can send a message to your phone, yada, yada, yada. And then you're like, okay. And then it will, like, are you calling from your smartphone now? And then you say yes. And it's like, okay, hang up. And then you hang up, and then a text comes in. And then you just key in the install key. And then it asks you that question via text. How many computers have been installed with this copy of Windows? You say one. And then it's like, here's your new key. So,
I cannot believe they made it even easier, because before you had to listen to the operator be like, enter your private key with touch tone phone, and then you'd enter like the 97 digits that were on your screen, and then it would read them back and be like, your new code is.
But then they made it voice activated, so you just say the code, and now they made it so you just take a picture of it. You can just take a picture of it with your phone. Like, I'm not even kidding. You could take a picture with your phone, and then it will.
Oh,
it will,
Jesus.
and then the
He's
thing,
doing like an MS Paint. Yep.
But then the thing is, because that install key is unique to that computer, it even tells you like, take a screenshot of this and save it for later. So when you reinstall it again, you can just use that key again. So,
like, why would they even bother with a big sophisticated back-end verification system when you could literally just take a picture of a barcode off a carton of milk and it would work?
Well, you know as well as I do, it's because it costs them more money to try and fight the piracy.
True.
Or not piracy, but the reinstallation of it, than the money they're losing by just allowing people to keep using Windows. Because at the end, they're still getting all that telemetry that they're selling back to everyone anyway.
Exactly. You're the customer. You're more the customer using Windows 10. Actually, Windows 8, 8.1, and Windows 10 were the first generations of heavy telemetry operating systems. But make no mistake, Windows 7, and I would even argue all the way back to like XP SP2, not the original release of XP, but XP SP2 was when telemetry started being collected. So this isn't a new thing. It's just they keep stacking more and more shit.
Well, it's not a new thing, but this is now their business model. The OS is nothing more than the platform which to grab data and sell it to customer or to third party advertisers.
So what makes this really scary though is that they can Terry Myers. Do you know who Terry Myerson is?
No.
So he's basically was the president of Windows for a long time. Terry Myerson, he was basically like, honestly, he was Steve Ballmer Jr. To be honest, I think it was the right call to basically send him packing, which is what they did. Satya announced in the mail that he'll no longer be the president because Windows doesn't need a president anymore because now they're under Azure, and the Azure president will be basically, holding order over all that is Windows.
Right.
So Terry Myerson is out. I think that's actually a good call because I think that he was way more about business and bottom line number than he was the customer. I hate to say this as much as I hate what Satya's done in the past, but actually he's making decisions right now.
What a face to freeze
restructure.
on.
Huh?
You froze for a second, but it was in a very derpy face.
I always have a very derpy face. So anyways, I mean, my take on this is I think Satya's making the right call as far as stepping down Terry Myerson. However, putting it under Azure is a really scary thing, especially with all the press that Microsoft's getting about data privacy issues. And to basically say that Windows now belongs to an organization that is completely based on big data, conglomerating data, aggregating data, and trying to make the world work through business intelligence and smart queries and all that shit. That's a little bit scary because that means
that's what I think.
Yeah.
that the entire back end was Azure for the Windows telemetry collection.
Real quick, hi, everybody saying hi to me. And you think you love me. Okay, I'm cool with that.
I love when he catches up, he's like...
Oh, shit, is it doing that?
Yeah,
God damn
it did that. And now you're stuck right before taking a drink of your cup.
Right.
Oh.
Anyways, I apologize for the robotic speaking.
Could be worse.
Did it do it again?
It froze for a little bit there, yeah.
God damn it. So nobody even heard anything I said.
They heard it really quickly.
We got the we got the gist that you're happy that he made Terry step down.
Yeah, but I'm not happy that it's under Azure because this means for the first time in Microsoft's history, the Windows product, which is the original product Microsoft was founded on, is now a second-class citizen to Microsoft, and that's scary.
Yeah. Was there any other Microsoft news?
Yes, actually. The other thing is, and this is complete theory, I have to say that, but apparently Microsoft Edge is getting their ass handed to them. They're the chief executive of the project was asked to fuck off kindly. I'm not going to use his name though, just because I don't want to contaminate my data sources. So, anyways, at Microsoft Edge basically had a certain period of time to basically get their shit together. Satya decided, nope, they didn't get their shit together, so they fucking punted the president of that, put a new guy into play, and now Edge has 2 years and an unlimited budget to basically turn the project around and become the best web browser in the world and fully integrate itself into the Microsoft product and the Azure platform and bring everything together. So they got another 2 years.
We go ahead and make predictions on that now.
I don't think it's ever going to work.
Yes, please do. I don't think it will either.
I think everyone just automatically writes off Edge / old Explorer and stuff simply because it's the baked in.
Yeah, it could be browser. The best, and it's never going to get the benefit of the doubt. No one's going to give enough time to try it and find out.
Right. It's.
I mean,
that whole thing.
You keep freezing, but I'm gonna if you're talking, I'm gonna talk over you for a sec here. Everyone knows that Explorer and Edge only see enough internet to download Chrome or Firefox or whatever you use, and that's it.
So when you use your laptop to buy a new computer, take your car to go car shopping, it's like you use Explorer or Edge to download Chrome or...
Exactly.
Yeah, never. I never, ever, ever use Edge for anything. Ever. Ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
Well, it sounds to me, though, like they're trying to make it a big part of their game plan. Like that, like Edge plays into this whole Azure move, this like lateral move, or actually not even lateral, sublateral move of taking Windows and putting it under Azure. Now they want Edge to kind of become its own entity, not so much a part of the operating system, but across all platforms. That includes the iOS app, the Android app. Yeah, you can get fucking Edge on everything now. So they really want to streamline it and make it like the best that it can be. And they pretty much, allocated unlimited resources to that. And then the last little piece of news that I have is, and I wouldn't even call this news, let's just call this a prediction, is there is going to be another round of layoffs coming at Microsoft. Undoubtedly, because any time historically when Microsoft has merged two divisions together, there has been overlap.
Yeah.
There's always redundancy, always same. I mean, that's why I'm out of a job, right? They merged Xbox, the Windows Phone, and Windows all under the same division. And they're like, well, we don't need 3 fucking test teams anymore. So they basically just picked the test team that the current management was most familiar with, which was the Windows Phone test team, which still makes no fucking sense to me that they picked the guy on the project that failed to basically run the test effort for the products that succeeded. Makes no sense to me, but anyways, that's what they decided to do. So expect that if you know anybody that's working at Microsoft, especially in the test or development disciplines, that anywhere where there's overlap between Azure and the operating system where things were being duplicated, they're going to slowly start phasing that out and either move those people out of those positions or just fucking put a gun to their head.
Well, on that note.
Hey, real quick, someone's like, hey, Josh, I thought Fractal's from Sweden. It is. So...
I didn't know that.
Clears that up for you.
You don't sound very Swedish.
I know, I don't sound very Swedish.
Wait. Fractal's from Sweden? What the fuck? I didn't know this.
Yeah.
Are you being serious?
Yeah, I'm dead serious. I didn't know Fractal was based like out of Sweden.
Yeah, we're based in Sweden.
Okay.
Wow, I didn't know the Swedes made anything but like IKEA furniture.
I believe-
and shit.
Scandinavian minimalism.
I believe every box has always said
designed and
Sweden.
engineered in Sweden.
Dude, I don't look at the boxes. Remember, I get free computers. They come to me out of the box. Jesus, I didn't know that. So do your cases come flat packed then? Do they come in like little like envelopes and you pull out all the sheets and like bend them and weld them together?
Yeah.
They come with
That's
little.
awesome.
They come with little stick figure instructions on how to put it together.
Do this.
Dude, I would laugh
You can't.
my ass off if you guys released a case that was like that. Like give it the name like the Gerber Hegan Sheegan.
Yeah. We'd probably get
We're
sued.
the
Fox.
Schwugen. The Schwugen case.
The Geisha speaking. Oh my god.
I get this a lot. A lot of people thought they think that I was the CEO of Fractal. It's like I'm not. I'm the vice president of marketing for North America, and I've never tried to say I was the CEO.
You've
so.
always
kind of a big deal though. I
You've
mean,
always
vice
called
president's a big deal.
You have always called yourself the vice president of marketing of North America because that's exactly what you are. Anyone who's ever said or thought you were the CEO just assumed it and never actually picked up that information from anywhere. They just pulled it out of the thin air.
I mean, let's be honest here. Muffin Stuffer says that they love me, so that's an accomplishment for.
Well, they love to stuff your muffin.
Yeah. It turns out that
Josh,
person's just
does
like
that
really
mean you
into
speak-
baking or something like that. Like, hey, I just really like muffins.
Make the IKEA case.
Yeah.
So does that mean you speak Swedish?
No. Well, I can say a few things, but I can't say them here.
Oh, you picked up all
much
the
like my
important like
Spanish,
conference room
yes.
business meeting shit. Okay, gotcha.
Finland is actually producing most of the furniture. I don't really care. It's like saying everything we're using is from China anyway. So.
See, everybody talks about Volvo. Like when they're talking about Sweden and like Saab, I'm more like Koenigsegg.
It's like
That's what I
Chevy.
would go
It's like
for.
Chevy, right? Designed in America and assembled in Mexico.
Yeah, Saab's been thrown around like crazy though. Didn't I hear they got bought again?
Probably.
I think Saab, like they don't officially have a car out right now, but I heard that because they had to close down after they were like acquired 3 times back in like the early 2000s, and then I heard that they got bought by somebody else again. So you may actually see Saab cars again at some point.
Well,
They're pieces of shit though. Don't buy them. They're fucking terrible cars.
Well, and the thing is, I mean, it's like you look at any, major auto manufacturer. You look at like, Ferrari, Lamborghini. How many times those have been bought and sold? I mean, Chrysler owned Lambo for a while, right?
Well, Chrysler owned Saab too.
Yeah.
I remember watching the Top Gear episode where they said they bought them and they tried to change everything and they were spending too much money, so they ditched them.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. Like when people look at the quality of like automotive electronics or things like that, you see something bespoke like a Lambo or Ferrari or Koenigsegg or anything like that. And they're like, oh, the quality's gonna be so high. It's like honestly, the best in-car entertainment stuff that I've seen is always like Ford and GM because they make 5 million of them a year, as opposed to like Lambo, who's either taking Audi leftovers and trying to force them into the dash.
Isn't
They're doing
Lamborghini owned
custom
by
stuff.
Volkswagen now?
Yeah,
Volkswagen Group?
Audi. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize too that most of the electronics that are in all the cars now all come from one or two major distributors because of all the safety bullshit. Like all the airbags are manufactured by like one of two companies. All the electronics are usually Denso or this other company that is either German or Japanese.
Yeah.
Because it just makes them easier for them to certify their cars for sale. Because like in the United States, you have to be able to. How many do you got to crash test? You got to crash test, I think, 5 cars or something to be able to sell in the U.S. market.
That's why Koenigsegg, I think, like the CCX generation or whatever, technically not road legal because they wouldn't submit them. They do like simulation testing, but they wouldn't submit physical samples because hey, yeah, here's like $12 million by the time we're
yeah,
done.
exactly. We just blow up these fucking priceless cars, and they're only going to make what of them like 100 a year. So if they have to crash like 5 of them, fuck that.
Yeah, I know. Imagine like that guy that day at work, like, oh man, I really don't want to hit this with the side sled, but here we go.
I have to. I have to wonder if this is true or not. Krypton Ice says I hit a tree going 70 with my Volvo and still drove.
Volvos are kind of built like brick shit houses though, because they all weigh a fucking ton. Like I don't know of a single Volvo that's under like 4,000 pounds.
What, you do a header into it, or did you like sideswipe it? You know.
Yeah, it's like did you knock a mirror off and you're like I'm still driving?
No, he busted the front end of the car under and it still ran.
Took a cup of coffee out and I really splashed that.
Someone asked what Nick is playing in the background. Right now he's. Huh? I was playing Titanfall. Yeah, he was playing Titanfall 2, and now it looks like he's just playing Spotify and Moderator.
Oh, I actually take back what I said about Saab. Somebody made a good point. The Saab 9000 was actually a really good car. I'm talking when Saab was its own company, they made good cars. When Chrysler acquired them and everything, they started making shit cars because they were just rebranding American market cars as Saab and fucking with the interiors a little bit.
I love it when questions have like the most important thing missing. Is the decent monoblock for the GTX 1080? You can suggest to buy.
I think is there a decent monoblock?
I know, but see, it's the letter that's missing, Jay.
A decent monoblock for they're not called monoblocks. They're called full cover blocks when they're for graphics cards. First of all,
monoblock for like what, like motherboard, like I have on the Asus monoblock.
Well, it does
like or like amplifiers. Monoblock is what I think of amps when I think of monoblock.
Or monoprice.
Well, that's because you're dumb, Jerry.
Or monorail.
I am a little bit.
Yeah, go get a block from a company that makes blocks for your card. I mean, I don't know what else to say.
Hey, Lackey Macintosh asked me how I like my mouse. I love it. This is the Logitech G502, and I've been using this thing for about 5 years, and I still haven't replaced it. It's the longest I've ever owned a mouse without destroying it.
Same here. I've still been using my Crewmaster Reaper mouse. Actually, CM Storm Reaper mouse for just as long, and I love this mouse.
My thing is, I'd replace mine. I want to get like a new mouse. I'm running like a SteelSeries right now, and it's like I can use it, but the fit's not right. And for me, it's like I don't care about the DPI, blah 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 blah. It's like if it doesn't feel right, it just sucks.
Yeah. Have you seen the new Logitech that's got the wireless charging through the mat and zero leg RF system?
Yeah, but I mean, they and a lot of other companies have been doing that now, so it's not even really like a new thing.
Oh, gotcha. Well, this is the only one I tried when I was down at TwitchCon. I was like fucking around with it in their booth, and I was like, I can always notice the lag on a wireless mouse. I don't care how good it is. I've always noticed. It's the first mouse that I didn't see any appreciable lag
Flipping
at all.
Those incognito tabs.
Yep. I don't use incognito tabs. I don't need to.
I broadcast out the projector on the side of my garage outside. I live dangerously.
I'm not embarrassed of my search history.
No, I still accidentally push the fucking thing on my
know?
phone that like casts it to the whatever closest TV is on, and I've gotten lucky so far that Xander hasn't been there. That takes some explaining.
So my little one, she's 3, and she's got she's got my wife's old iPhone 6 that it has no connection or like service or anything turned on to it, but she uses it for like YouTube Kids and little kids games and stuff. She'll get mad like my video's not playing, but she'll keep AirPodding it up to or airplaying it up to the theater room upstairs, and then I'll hear the theater just start blasting like kids videos.
Dude, wouldn't it be funny if you're in the bedroom having a little alone time with Miss JayzTwoCents, and it's like you're watching something on the TV, it's all hot, and then all of a sudden it just pops on, and it's like the fucking Poggles or whatever it is.
Poggles.
I need counseling now. I got reprogrammed.
You're watching fucking Barney shows up. I love you, you love me.
Well, the thing is because you can control the volume of like the AirPlay through the phone.
Yeah.
She'll think that it's just turned down, so she'll crank the audio through the phone. And you haven't heard the upstairs theater, like my DevTech 9000 setup up there. It will shake the whole damn house, and it's terrifying. And usually, little Jay, my older daughter, will be up there playing her computer because it's in the same loft.
Yeah.
And then you'll just hear her scream because she gets scared because the TV suddenly turns on just like instant 10. And yeah, it's kind of funny but annoying. I need to turn off AirPlay on that receiver. There's no reason for me to even have it on.
Yeah, Xander would freak if it was like full volume. He would just like run out of the room. He's pretty sensitive to really loud noises.
Water cooling question. Why don't people use fluid temp to control fan speed? Because usually your fluid temp will only range like about 5C difference between its coldest and its hottest. See, these are, we actually got a huge care package from EK of stuff that I requested so I could do these. Yeah. You saw that, right? Mm. So I could do these videos showing people how, one, loop order does not matter. 2, how you can oversize your system and get no benefits out of it. And 3, to show, and actually have temperature probes and like a pass-through temperature fitting so it'll show a readout of how much temperature does not change between max load and idle. The water temp itself does not change but maybe 5C from its hottest to its coldest. And I've got all the temperature probes and stuff to show in different parts of the loop. Like, look, here's what the temp is and stuff. So I've got all these videos planned out, but they're being more or less timed for the beginning of summer, because that's when these videos are much more relevant.
Hey,
dude, water cooling's for poor people, man.
So I got a couple things here real quick. First of all, the guy that's asking about the replacement side panel, like anywhere, just contact our tech support department. They can help you out. And I was going to ask you guys.
It seems like a logical place to start, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I do.
And that's the thing. Like, whenever we get those questions on like social media, we're not trying to be dicks, but it's like if you want us to troubleshoot something in 280 characters, it's kind of difficult. We're always going to direct you back to the tech support. They'll help you out. And then, like, whenever I show up in videos, I get this a lot. He sounds like or he looks like. Like, who do you get? Do you ever get like, oh, Jay looks like so-and-so, Jay sounds like so-and-so? Or
no, I'm pretty unique.
Other than Chunk on the Goonies, yeah, no.
See, I get, like,
that hurts coming from you.
Truffle.
No, in all seriousness, I think when people spot me out in public, it's because I'm a very unique-looking individual. Like, there's no one else.
That sounds like the most politically correct way to describe you.
Okay,
I thought I was unique until I went to Goshen, Indiana, and met 2 people that could literally be my fucking clones.
They're both women, but it's okay.
Well, you know.
And they have beards.
I have bigger boobs still, but, you know.
Throw it out. Someone asked if I'm driving a red 911 because they saw me on the 60. Nope.
No.
Jake can confirm black Corvette this time.
Black Corvette.
God damn it, you drive fucking nice rental cars all the time.
And I broke Jay's windshield.
No.
We went on a canyon run today, and he kicked up a rock about the size of a marble and put
the car kicked up, and then I ran and like booted one at his car.
No, you threw it by hand. That's like toss it out the window.
Slow him down.
So yeah, he put a rock chip and crack in my windshield.
Mm-hmm.
Does that thing have a fancy window in it where it costs more because it's like lighter weight or something?
No, it's the exact same one as like the base model.
ZL glass.
Oh, good. Yeah. No, I mean, that's a good thing because I had a friend who had this acoustically modified glass windshield came in his car or something. He's like, oh, yeah, it makes it really quiet inside, but the replacement costs $900.
Sounds like a bunch of marketing
because it has
there.
the PDR, it might have a different windshield, so I don't know.
Ooh, well, you better hope it doesn't. Does it have like little fucking wires running through it or anything for heaters or defroster?
I have an insurance on it, so it doesn't really matter.
No, but insurances sometimes will only cover up to a certain amount.
This is through the dealership for this specific car.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing is, like, you know, I mean, there are cars that have that where it's basically like kind of like the double sealed glass. Like a lot of new cars, you can feel that when you feel like the edge of the side window, and it's got kind of like that dip where it looks like 2 laminated pieces going together.
Like the A8, the Audi A8 had that.
And it, like, obviously I drive a lot of different rental cars, and it's like it's becoming much more common, even like lower spec cars, to have like the double walled or whatever you want to call that, sealed, bonded, whatever glass.
Yeah.
But yeah,
or like the Lexan rear windows. That's kind of becoming a thing to shave weight now, where you have like the back window that's flexible.
We were discussing that the other day, like all the bullshit that car manufacturers come up with on the performance cars to shave weight. Like, oh, your GT3 RS, no door handles. We're gonna put straps. Oh, thanks for the 7 ounces you saved me. It's like it's a game.
Yeah.
One of the things that they did on my car to save weight was remove the daylight running lamps, which they said was 7 pounds.
I could see that.
Jesus Christ!
Plus, you realize that stuff's hanging out on the end too. So.
Still, though, 7 pounds for lights? Like, I don't even know how you get to that weight unless you're fucking like dripping lead on it or something.
I don't know.
It's
it
a
has
light
a separate
fixture.
wiring harness.
But fortunately, where the crack is on my windshield, I have to get it repaired or it's going to spread, obviously. But it's like down at the bottom, just above the windshield wiper, where it's still like the black border around the windshield. So it's not like in my view or anything. It's down low.
So is it still like quarter size though, or it can be like injected and fixed?
It's smaller than that. It can be injected. The thing is, even when they do that, though, you can still see the crack, and that's going to bug me. But
no. Have you seen they used to? I watched a guy do it like not 6 months ago, and I could not tell because they do this grinding thing now,
we can
where
just
they grind and polish it.
Some spackle or something.
Or just spackle it, put some stucco.
Because remember how before it looked like the glass had a ripple, like a little circular ripple in it. That doesn't happen anymore. Well, I guess you have to have this one method, but yeah, they have a method now where they inject it, and then once it sets up, they use like this fucking die grinder thing that grinds it down to the surface of the glass, and then they polish it out, and it literally looks absolutely flawless.
Well, I mean, there's obviously the impact mark, and then there's straight cracks that come out from that. So.
Oh, okay. So maybe that wouldn't work out so well.
What they had basically said was what they'll do is like they'll try and repair it, and if they can, then they will then they'll repair it. If they can't, then they will repair or replace the whole windshield.
Okay. Is it the dealership that's going to do the windshield swap or the repair?
The dealership will do it.
I love that.
The dealership has a guy on site that does it.
That's awesome because every time I get a window because my STI eats about a windshield a year because, it's the most unaerodynamic fucking car ever made. It kicks up its own rocks and breaks its window, if you can believe that. So every time they replace the windshield, they always use this generic fucking trim around the windshield that does not match anything.
Oh.
And it drives me nuts. You know what I'm talking about? That fake like little plastic. It almost just like goes over the lip of the glass before they glue it in just to form a seal. And it's not like the trim that goes over the bodywork, so it leaves a gap. And it drives me absolutely bonkers. And they always do it.
What if I get that one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so one question I get a question for Josh.
I got to move this so you look at the mic.
No problem.
There.
Basically, the question
Come on,
is
Josh,
why are
God damn
cases
it.
not made with interchangeable
You're on the
fronts?
clock, Josh.
What, you guys
Backs.
want to know how much screen real estate space I have? Josh, follow this with your head. Wait, there we go. And then that's a lot of screen.
It helps that I'm like, 14, 12, 16 inches from
Bro,
the screen.
don't even flex on me. I've got 10.5 feet wide of display. This is the one side. This is the other side.
Sorry about your penis, bro.
Yep, I was going to say. So anyway,
I'm not.
The question basically, why don't we make cases with interchangeable parts? We don't, I guess, intentionally do that all the time.
Because Cooler Master already does it.
Yeah, there's always going to be some stuff that's reused. Like if you check with our tech support department, for example, like the Define XL and the Arc XL, those side panels were interchangeable. Drive tray, certain parts are. But I mean, it just kind of depends because like we're not really trying to design cases to like, hey, how many uses can we get out of the same basic design? It's largely due to the fact
That's the old school method of making cases.
Yeah, it's largely due to like what do you want to do with it. I mean, like a Define C is different than a Define Nano or a Define S, but like a Define C and a Meshify C are largely the same interior chassis with one's airflow oriented, one's silence oriented. So
I have a question for you.
Yes.
How do you feel about the Cooler Master Meshify C?
So anyway, looking at the I used 15. Honestly, I haven't seen a ton of it. If it's that similar, then hey, I'll just say that I'm flattered.
It is the highest form of flattery, they say.
To be fair, everything's
And if so, it wasn't the
interchangeable if
first
you have a
time.
die grinder and a spot welder.
Fractal
And
Josh,
just
saying.
can you
And
make
JB
military style case handles like the old Corsair? Yeah, we could. We could do pretty much anything. The biggest thing, like you've seen with the new Meshify C White, the Meshify C Mini, the Blackout series, all those came because our fans went to our website, went to the Contact Us section, and said, "Hey, product suggestions. We want to see this. It's supply and demand. If you guys tell us what you want to see, if there's enough demand, we want to supply it." So
I'm going to talk about this.
I just want to troll you with like 1,000 accounts now that just send a random request for the same thing.
I'm going to talk about this one here real quick. Cody Sanders asks, Jay, how do y'all feel about the new Corvette ZR1?
I saw that earlier. I didn't want to interrupt you. We were talking about that.
Ooh, I love the Corvette. I love it.
Okay, so the 2019 Corvette ZR1 is like what the Z06 kind of should have been. See, the Z06 came out and it underperformed in terms of cooling. It overheated. It cooked the oil. And it's the same engine that's in my car, the LT4 supercharged. And they put it in the Camaro ZL1, and then it completely dominated the Z06. So, of course, Corvette's firing back with the 2019 ZR1, which is, I think it's awesome. First of all, I mean, why would I get mad that a Corvette is faster than my car? It should be.
Sorry, I have to look it up.
It's about $129,000. I think $120,000 to start.
Yeah.
For a fucking Corvette, Jesus.
Yeah,
I mean, which is base, but I mean, if you
It
could
does
say base for that
0 to
model
60 in
car.
2.8. It does 0
Oh
to
my God,
it does,
that's hot.
It does 0 to 106 flat. It's a
Top
10,
is like 212.
something like that, and it's
Plain.
10.5 in the quarter. Now, to put it into perspective, my car is 0 to 60 in 3.5, and I don't know what 0 to 100 is. It's 11.5. I think it's 11.5 at 123 in the quarter. So it's no slouch by any means. But Jerry, you don't even know this yet. I've already started the process with Cunningham Motorsports to do the Stage 2 900 horsepower package on my car.
Dude, what the fuck's wrong with you? Seriously, you're gonna
I
die.
want more power.
I mean, you're a good driver, but you're not 900 horsepower on a track good driver. You're not fucking Mario Andretti.
You don't know shit about my driving skills, buddy.
You're gonna die, dude. And I'm probably gonna be in the passenger seat when it happens too. I'll end up landing down there on the day you get it back from him.
No, you're not. You're not going to be in the passenger seat of my car.
Why? The suspension can't handle it? I thought you upgraded that.
You're never going to make it down here.
No, I'm gonna come down. I told you. Just tell me when. I'll come down.
I did tell you when, and you're like, no, I won't be in town. And that wasn't even the week. That wasn't even the weekend you had to leave.
That was one weekend.
I think you and Sapphire Ed were mud wrestling that weekend or something.
Bro, it ain't like I got a job. I can come down tomorrow if you want. I'm just sick. I'll probably give you AIDS. I invited you to 2 track events last year and 1 this year so far, and all 3 you were like, can't. Well, this one I couldn't come down because I was physically out of town. That's a difference. Like, I was gone. I was working.
You left after I got back to go to your.
Wait, did I?
Yes, you didn't even get the weekend right when you were like, nope, I'm not around.
So I left on the 20. When did I leave? 23rd.
Yeah. See, my track day was the 18th, which is what I told you on the stream.
Oh, so I totally could have made that. Never mind. Okay, I'm a dick.
I know.
I'm a dick. Hey, I'm looking at the ZR1 though. It does look an awful lot like the Ferrari 59. What is it? The 599XX.
Yes, because they opened up the front to give it more cooling like it needs to, so it has a very similar like grille design now.
God, it's a cool looking car though. I have to say that is pretty badassery. Yeah. Like I would drive that all day long.
I was gonna hop in real quick. Anybody that ever asked, hey, does Fractal make a blah? Please check our website. That's where we keep everything that we make. I'm not trying to be snotty, but I mean it's like legit. If we make a mini ITX case with 5.25 bay, yeah, we do Core 500. But generally start there, and if you don't see your answer there, then hit us up. Ask us the question.
I just want a flashlight holder for the front of the case. Can you make that happen?
I'm looking at the case you modified over here.
Josh.
And I want to cry.
Josh, I would like to know if the 4770K with a Z87 running G-Skill DDR3 will allow me to run a 360 mil, 30 mil rad with these fans.
It needs to be like some rad that was made for like 6 months by some company you've never heard of. And
yeah, what I love is how people think you test every single possible iteration of hardware ever, and they're going to get granular down to, I want to know if it's going to fit this exact configuration.
Well, okay, and here's part of it, right? I saw a question earlier about, is it hard to make cases that fit 280 millimeter rads or basically 140 millimeter based rads that still fit, have RAM clearance.
Like a 140 rad, like the 420
like 140,
would not
280,
have fit
420.
in your build.
And the thing for that is, like, you always got to draw the line somewhere. Because for the guy that's over there, like, God, if you made it an inch taller, would have fit this, would have fit this, would have fit that. There's 5 other people saying, why is it that tall? If you made it an inch shorter, it would be so much closer to what I want. And that's where you kind of have to draw the line of, this has the best compromise of fitting multiple different radiators. So, for example, I mean, the R6 can fit a 420 in the top, it can fit a 360 in the top, it can fit, like, 240s, all that stuff. But, I mean, can it do every single thing at the same time? No. What's the max it can do at any one time, regardless of hardware orientation? Would be 420, 280, 280. But you probably would never want to do that because it'd be a basement-mounted 280, which would be a bitch to plumb. But it could technically do it. And then I think probably this is something that, you should do a video on sometime, or you might already have planned. But it's like, there is a law of diminishing returns. It's like, if you put a 580, 60, whatever the hell in there, it all depends on your ambient temperature. It depends on what you're trying to cool. If you're just cooling your CPU, you're going to hit that where it's like, I got a really big radiator and my temps aren't really changing. There's no more, I'm not even touching the thermal headroom. So we kind of have to make this product where it fits a bunch of different scenarios. And that's where it's not always going to be tweaked. And, we're happy to let you guys mod it yourself. There's a lot of people who do some crazy stuff with their cases, and that's always really cool to see. But
now EK has a configurator. Online that they requested a lot of support from their cone customers to let them know, like, hey, this rad fits in this case.
Yeah.
In this config. And they've been building that database, but it's 100% dependent on the customer feedback.
And the customer feedback being correct.
Yeah. Because it's not like they can go out and seriously buy, like, every single iteration of hardware. You know what I mean?
And even if they could, when could they test it? I mean, how long would it take to put all those different, factors in there? So what we try to do is we try to put stuff on our website of, like, support CPU coolers up to this height. And, like, we'll get questions like, I know it says it supports up to 162. This one's 163. Will it support that? Well, technically, no. That's why we had to say 162. Now, maybe you could stuff it in there, but we have to draw the line where we say, this is officially what it is. And, and we even rely on other vendors because it's like, well, I think they measure from the heat plate and not from, the extended leg mounts. It's like, I don't know how, say, CryoRig or whoever measures it. All we're saying is this is how much room you have from the motherboard plate or from the motherboard to the side of the case. And we do the best we can, but anything, whether it's cars, like, hey, can I go aftermarket and create my own twin turbo setup? It should fit in the car, and then you get to doing it and it doesn't. Or like when we were doing it, it's like, the best laid plans, but you're never really going to know until you get right in there.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about your build that we just finished.
Sure.
So, okay, obviously you're going to put so much in a video. How do you like? Is there anything you're not happy with about how it turned out? Like, is there anything you would change right now if you could go back and do something over?
Get him, Josh. Get him.
How much is going to cost?
Well,
me
I
to
didn't
ship
build
it.
it.
Back?
He planned his own build.
The only thing I would change, honestly, no. I mean, it's so far it boots. That's always great. The performance is going to be up there, and a lot of the stuff I did plan out ahead of time. There's times where it's a pain in the ass to get stuff put together. Like we were talking about, it's a game of millimeters, right? If it's off a little bit left, off a little bit right, we do what we can to make it fit. I didn't really have a loop in mind when I looked at it as far as like how I wanted the tubing runs to go or how I wanted it to look. Honestly, I'm surprised how good it looked when it turned. Because we got a lot of comments on people like, hey, I don't like purple, but that actually looks pretty badass. So,
well, I mean, okay, so many people go with the staple colors, right? Blue, red, mostly red. White, white has kind of been a thing lately, like by white fluid and stuff like that. I mean, but purple is one of those, like, it's not the easiest to pull off, but I think you did really well with the cables. Really tied it together, and there was more RGB in your build than anything I've ever done. Where
can I see this thing? I want to see what you guys are talking about here.
It's on the YouTube.
Yeah, there's a place online where people put videos. It's called YouTube.
I'm gonna go on the YouTubes. Okay, is it this last video you uploaded?
Can probably just find it, and if you go to Josh's Twitter, I'm sure he's put it.
Yeah, it's on our Twitter.
Oh, I see it. I see it. Actually, purple looks really good in that build.
Well, thank you. And that's the thing. Like, when it first fired up, it did the rainbow puke thing. And as I said from the beginning, my thing with the RGB is not to have it go spectrum. It's like I just want to use it so I can color match it.
I'm gonna address this one. Skilled Rock, Josh, why did you choose i9 instead of Threadripper for the build? The same reason why if he chose Threadripper, they'd be like, Josh, why did you choose Threadripper and not i9? I'm so tired of the why did you, or why didn't you questions.
And to be fair, you get both sides of anything you do online. Like when I'll be streaming, people are like, well, you have a 4770K, why the fuck are you running that? Like, you can still see me, right? You're still watching me stream, so it works. That's why I'm running that. Then you upgraded something like this, like, oh, overprivileged asshole.
Let me tell you what's annoying about Threadripper is the CCX. Do you know what the CCX is?
I have no idea.
Okay, so Threadripper, no joke, is two 1800Xs basically on a single die. That's why Intel was making the comment of like, oh, it's just two CPUs glued together.
Yeah.
Well, the CCX is the glue, and it's basically like sort of like how the Infinity Fabric works.
Yeah.
And it has to crosstalk and cross communicate on the actual die. You can find a lot of diagrams about how this works, and there's what is like what they call their content creator mode, and then there's like gamer mode or like professional mode, gamer mode.
Yeah.
And neither of them perform best at everything in either mode. Yeah. So for instance,
jack of all trades, master of none.
Right. So if you want to go into content creator mode and run all your memory at max speed and get all your performance of all your cores and stuff, then that works fine for things like Cinebench and your video editing, color grading and stuff in like DaVinci and all that stuff. But if you go into gaming, they have found there's actually a decrease in performance in games because of the latency that takes place between the CPU alternating and cross-talking through the Infinity Fabric. So what happens is you go into game mode, it shuts off half the cores. It turns it from a 16-core to an 8-core. Okay.
Yeah.
So then they found most games that perform better that way. There are some games that are very hyper-threaded. They're very multi-threaded that perform better in content creator mode or creative mode. So you're constantly having to like switch these modes and figure out which is best, unless you just want to leave it in creator mode and take the hit in gaming. You don't deal with that in i9.
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of the thing, it's like there's a lot of it, as far as the ecosystem. It's like, I happen to really like the Asus board, the Rampage 6,
Yeah.
It happens to be the fact, like, I could have gone with a Threadripper. It's like, obviously, I know people at AMD that I could work with, and it's like, it's not really so much an allegiance. It's like, hey, it kind of worked out for what I wanted to do, and honestly, at the end of the day, I didn't sweat it because you're going to get props and you're going to get shit from people no matter what side of the fence that you're on,
Yeah.
So, So honestly, it worked for me. I'm really happy.
It's not a one-size-fits-all, though. Like, no matter what. Like, there is no scenario where you can say this is absolutely going to be faster at everything.
Well, and when we were kind of come up with the build, and I was talking to Jay
Choke Guy says you can code around CCX, but he's not a coder. He's an end user. That makes no sense.
And the people that make his software probably aren't doing that also. That's the other thing you got to take into consideration.
Well, and that's one of the things that, like, I talked about in the video was, like, this is largely, it's a work rig and also a gaming rig. It's going to be kind of a catch-all, but the big thing is, like, I work on average 16 hours a day, you know. So if I'm down for 4 hours, that really kind of screws me. So it's like I'm also not going to overclock the crap out of it. Yeah, I saw that.
So is Jay saying AMD is subpar? Did I say that? Did I say AMD is subpar?
He said what he doesn't like about CCX, right?
Well, I said CCX for a dual purpose machine like this is kind of annoying. If you spent that kind of money and you bought your processor that was not a sponsored part,
yep.
If you are spending the money on that and you are doing it for dual purpose like you want to,
yep.
then you want to get the most out of what you spent. Now,
well, it's also going to fail because we didn't delit it.
The temps are doing pretty damn good, by the way.
Yeah.
So, how much was that CPU? What'd you pay for it?
I think it's like what, 12?
Okay, so yeah, it was about $300 more than you could have gotten a 1950X for. And the 1950X does indeed have more cores and stuff. But I think for what you're using it for, you'd probably notice very little difference between the two. But it's about preference and it's about having options. Because you know what? If we lived in this world where AMD still didn't compete, then it would suck to have everything be super one-sided like it's been for a while, unfortunately, with GPUs and stuff and GPU performance. But you have choice. So what I hate and what I hate about the PC master race and the whole PC crowd is this divide of like, no, you've got to use AMD or you've got to use Intel or whatever, or you suck or your system sucks. And that is the stupidest mentality. I am ashamed of the people who think that way in this community because they make the whole community look bad by doing that shit.
What bothers me is, you know, I hear a lot of the PC master race, and personally, I don't consider myself a part of the PC master race or whatever. I'm not crapping on the people that do. You know, in my mind, what really bothers me is when someone tries to join a community, right? Like, you know, someone makes the leap and is going to build their first system. They go into a forum and then people shit all over them for like what they chose. And it's like, you think that really makes people want to be a part of something? Like, hey, I picked this and this is what I could afford, and maybe I'm going to upgrade this in 6 months, but I got the video card I could use right now. And it's like, oh, you should have done this, you should have done that because I like this. It's like, that's an opinion, man, and that's fine, but don't crap on someone for using that.
Yeah.
And then again, you get people like, you wonder why they just want to go console, or they don't even want to dick with building a PC. They just want to buy one. Then you buy one, oh God, you can't even build your own PC. You're a piece of shit.
Most people who go to forums, right, whether it be Tom's Hardware, Hard OCP, Overclock.net, whatever. Like
4chan.
No, Jerry. The people who have the hardcore, that's usually what they see. I think a lot of the comments, or a lot of the viewers on YouTube don't go to the comment section. The comment section is not a very good place for discussion, obviously. And so I think most people are just accustomed to seeing the comments on the various build logs and stuff they'll see.
Yep.
They don't get to see the comments from the perspective of like Linus or myself or Paul or Kyle. And I'm telling you right now, it's the saddest thing to try and preach. Like, my channel is literally about just giving people information, entertaining people, and letting them make their own choices. I want to help people make a choice, or arm them with information to make their choice. Yeah. I'm never going to tell someone, go buy this, go buy that. But it's sad, and it really at times makes me feel ashamed of like that mentality of like people that will shit on someone else's build because they use parts that person wouldn't have picked.
And I think the thing is, like, when you're looking at the comments section or forums or whatever, basically opinions and knowledge are the currency of that location. It's like, if I can one-up you and say that I know more about this, or I could have picked a better video card that was on sale that particular day for $10 off at the local Micro Center with 10 coupons and, a hug in the back room sort of thing. It's like, fine, you can prove someone wrong, and then you've trumped them, and then you're a better online person than they are. The thing is, at the end of the day,
it's like they're winning a race.
Yeah, it's like, don't be an asshole. I mean, it's like, if you really want people to join this, well, you're a dickhole. It's like, if you really want people to be a part of this community, if you want people to be able to mod their cases, build their own PCs or whatever, if they don't build the same way you do, that's fine. You know what? Like, maybe your mom's cookies are shit. You love them, but I think they're shit. And I'm going to tell you they're shit. That doesn't mean they're shit. That just means I don't like them. If you like them, good for you. Eat what works for you.
What's it?
You have people constantly saying that what they think is the best should be the best for everybody else when there's so many different scenarios. Like, Jay, how often do you get it where somebody actually uses you in the defense of their argument, like completely erroneously, like, Jay would never use that, or Jay thinks that's a piece of shit, or something? You're like, what?
That triggers me. Like, people speak for you. Jay wouldn't like that.
They do that all the time with me.
Oh, hell no.
I've had somebody do that with 3D printers before. They're like, oh, yeah, you know, Jerry only uses Ultimaker because they're like the best printer ever. No, I only use Ultimaker because they fucking sent me my first printer and I have like 9 of their printers. So just by default, I use their shit. It doesn't mean that it's bad, but it doesn't mean I'm saying it's the only good thing on planet Earth. Not by a long shot.
Do you know how boring it would be if every hobby you had no choice? Like, if you want to race a car, everyone races the same car. Now, okay, yes, that exists in leagues to keep things fair, but like
you can still opt into that.
Yeah, if everyone had,
it'd be like that movie Equilibrium, like where everybody's just taking medication and all agrees on the same thing and the same doctrine. You just wake up and go through the same moves and drive the same cars and do the same jobs.
You know what? Though, I'm totally gonna devil's advocate my own statement though.
Do it.
Think about how good gaming would be though if we all had the same CPU and all the same GPUs and stuff, because then they could
it'd be fair for a change.
So you mean like a console?
Okay, yeah.
That's basically what it would be.
Console gaming isn't fair now. Like, everybody's got, like, now Xbox One versus Xbox One X. How the fuck is that fair? One's got, like, double the frame rate, better graphics, 4K versus 1080p.
It's kind of like saying, like, one of your cousins is hotter than the other one. Like, that doesn't even matter, and that's gross.
Josh, easy. One of them clearly is hotter than the other one. I'm just going to go on record and say that.
His name is Fred, yeah. So, okay, someone keeps asking, is there going to be a new Define S? I'll go ahead and answer all those questions for you right now. Unfortunately, I cannot talk about products that may or may not be in development. So, if it's, is this new thing going to come out? I don't know. If I didn't know, I couldn't tell you until it came out. But if you want to see something, go to our website, contact us, product suggestions, let us know.
I, on the other hand, could talk all I want. So, no.
Go for it.
I was waiting for that.
No one's going to listen. I have 1.4 million YouTube subscribers and gray hair.
It's 1.42, I think.
Oh, no. Okay.
Hey, Jay, why are you growing so slow again, man? You were growing all like super fast, and then you kind of slowed down again. What the fuck?
I'm sorry that I'm only doing 1,000 or so a day, Jerry.
Dude, that's like poor people. We used to do that like way back in the day. Get on that next level shit. I want to see like 5,000 a day, man. Come on.
Jay likes to undulate it. You know, you got to hold back a little bit.
Well, I'm trying not to completely, bring all the steam out of your engines.
I'm trying to get down to single digits. Let me see if I've done it yet.
You're almost there, dude. Don't worry.
You know what's funny is Jay used to actually watch my Social Blade stats more than I did. Like, he'd say something, I'd be like, "Oh shit!" Like, I didn't know it was that bad. Oh my god! I haven't looked at it in a long time.
What I was starting to say about the case though is the Define S. That was the first case of its type, right?
Like the open layout where it had the reservoir, whatever Kyle called it.
It would be kind of like saying, Josh, is there going to be a Define R7? There's been a 3, a 4, a 5, a 6.
There's certain things you can look at where, it's like, okay, so like when you look at the Define C, that's basically compact. It's like we don't put 5 1/4 bay drives in it, so it's shorter front to back. Then you have like the Define S, which is like that open interior. Define Rs are always going to be, I guess like what they are now, like a decent amount of storage, fairly flexible, and also silence focused. Define is our silent series. So yeah, it's like, the Define S, if it's doing really well, there's generally going to be an update to it. So honestly, they'll probably be an R7, but I can't tell you for sure. And the reason a lot of people think it's like, oh, you want to be secretive. It's like, no, it's part of it's because of the fact, like, I have no idea when they're going to come out. You can have planned dates for stuff to come out. There can be a production delay. There can be a logistics delay. Yeah. And it gets blown out. Like, obviously, we're having a lot of issues right now with the R6 selling out so damn fast that they keep going out of stock on Newegg. And then people get upset with us, and I totally get it. But at the end of the day, it's one of those things where it's like, hey, we don't make any money if we don't sell them either. We are trying to get them to you as quick as possible.
You mean
with the Harrison Ford thing, I don't get that.
You mean
I just saw that too. I was like, I got that stuck in my head. You do kind of sound like
the design team doesn't just sit around now, like done, like they're just done.
Peace out. Yeah, we're gone.
We're done.
You guys could probably move a lot faster if you adopted Thermal Take's model and just stole the designs and just copied all the shit and sent it over to your design department in China.
No comment on that one. But what I can say, is like things are always evolutional. It's not necessarily okay. The R6 comes out now. Let's start working on the R7. Like a lot of that stuff runs in parallel because maybe there's features that you want to put on a version of a case or any product, phone, whatever. And you have to make that cut time of, hey, we need to launch this, or it's going to be in R&D forever. So it's like you make the decision like this is what this is going to be. We couldn't get that feature in on this one, so we're going to move it to the next model year or to the next version or to maybe a different product in the lineup. So it's like the R6 was probably still being developed while the R5 was being finalized and the R4 was going to end of life and so on. So
you can tell he's way behind, like on the chat. He says, "Yo, Barney, Edge is built into Windows Explorer."
Whoa. He must be watching like the recording.
We're not even done.
He's watching VFX machine.
I like all my Fractal cases. I've got two of them sitting, one on my desk and one underneath it.
Yeah, but
the Define R2 XL and R2.
Would you have chosen those cases, or did you just use them because that's what Puget uses?
That's a good question, actually. If I could choose them and money was no object, Case Labs. Their cases are just over the top, but I wouldn't want them if I had to drag the shit to a LAN party. I'll tell you that much, because they're heavy as fuck.
I don't even think that offends Josh, because I mean that's not even a competing product.
And that's they're expensive. It's like the Tiffany's of case designers,
and honestly,
right?
it's like like something like the size of Skunk Works, right? That's what the SM08.
Yeah,
SM88. And I basically was like, I'm never taking that to another LAN party.
And that's kind of the thing where it's like a case that costs 4 to 5 times as much as our flagship case and is how much bigger. It should have a lot more flexibility. And it's no salt. It's like whenever I stream, whenever I'm on a lot of shows like this, you get a lot of the hey, what do you think about that? I don't want your case. I want to get the Corsair. Blah blah blah. Good, get what you want. I'm not going to talk you into our cases if you don't like them. It might be an aesthetic thing or it might be a feature thing. It's like it does me no good to force you into our case, have you hate it, and then go bitch to all your friends or not be happy with it.
Right.
It's like I want you to get whatever works
cost
for you.
Being considered, I do love the cases. I mean, they're lightweight, which is something that is really important to me, especially since my back is just all fucked up and I drag these things around with me.
Josh
they're laid out well too.
Josh is Jay's ginger son, right? You're older than me.
Yeah, I am. I'm older than Jay.
What does that say about me?
We must have.
Do you have a DeLorean somewhere?
Yeah.
I have a DeLorean.
Flux capacitor.
I love all the comments about my gray hair, like it's something new.
It is.
It's soft.
I'm trying to keep count of how many comments there are on. I don't make videos anymore.
Springy too.
Yeah, springy. Well, gray hair is like coarser than like non-gray hair.
Mine isn't though. That's what's weird. Mine isn't going that direction.
You don't have enough of it.
Yeah, well, no, I'm pretty gray now, man. Like I cut it down so it doesn't look that bad, but oh my god, everybody I've run into said, "Oh my god, where'd all the gray come from?"
Oh, shut up! They only noticed you're gray right now because you still have enough of your dark brown hair to actually notice the gray. See,
it's a contrast.
Now,
thing.
when I see a brown hair, I'm like, "Whoa! How are you still here?"
They see your hair gets a little dark, and Jay, you need to wash your hair. It's nasty, man. You need to get rid of it.
It's funny. My doctor tried to give me the upsides of having low testosterone. She's like, "Well, on the plus side, you age a lot slower and you never lose your hair." I was like.
Was Jay a ginger? No, my natural hair color was very like medium brown, like kind of a golden brown.
I get this a lot. What's my favorite non-fractal case? Well, I work in marketing for Fractal, but let me go ahead and just punt off that one. I like a lot of the case lab stuff. I mean, honestly, it's like, but at the same point in time, if it comes down to me, if everyone thinks I'm made out of money and stuff. It's like I rent these cars.
You know what? One of my favorite cases is. Well, it's based off Silverstone, but the murder box.
Okay, yeah, like the MD whatever.
Because it's a total custom. Like they do
the thing where they remove the shroud from the fans, and the fan hub is just sitting on the top.
Yeah, but it's the whole case that they sell is a case mod. So they start with the Silverstone. Yeah. Was it?
That's
FJ,
also like what,
FJO,
like a $1,500, $2,000 case.
I think it's like $1,250.
Yeah, so
it's really expensive.
I like simple cases. I don't like the cases that are all mega blinged up and shit right out of the box.
It's done really sleek.
Jerry, look up murder box. And
it's done like really sleek.
If I type murder box in with no filter, am I going to see like headless porn videos?
Look up murder box case then.
There we go.
Fractal rock.
It's super sleek.
Oh, okay. No, I like that. That's actually really clean. I like the rounded edges too.
Yeah.
And
that's a cool case. I've never seen that before.
It's kind of based on like the Silverstone TJ07.
It is a TJ07. That's what it starts as.
That's a really cool looking case.
Will the website be translated to other languages like German? It should already be. So go to our website, check the top. There should be like the flags that you can pick on for like Chinese and Japanese and other languages. I think German should be there.
Hey guys, which cryptocurrency do you think will explode next? Does that mean explode as in fail or explode as in blow up? Oh, Jerry,
obviously go up.
Jerry, maybe you can talk about this. I heard rumors that there's apparently an ASIC being developed for Ethereum. Have you heard this?
I have. I don't know how far along they are on it, but that would be a huge boon for the GPU market going back to gamers.
But I thought Ethereum was specifically programmed to not work with an ASIC.
No. So here's it would have to be a hybrid ASIC. It wouldn't be a true ASIC. The ASIC would just be responsible for the actual mathematical calculation. It would still need a shitload of DDR4 or DDR5 memory. And that's where it gets tricky because you need the memory. The Ethereum is all about looking shit up very, very quickly. Mm-hmm. So memory is kind of the stopping point. Memory happens to be one of the most expensive components of the GPU manufacturing right now. So once they can build the ASIC, that'll be the cheap part. The ASIC that just does the mathematical calculation is going to be. Think of it like normally you'd have the GPU running the code to figure out the math. Well, the ASIC is just think of it like a hardwired, one purpose only, instantaneous mathematical calculator that just runs one algorithm. That's all it would do. Now, the reason it'd be hybrid is because the other side of that ASIC would be a huge bank of memory and a controller and a smaller computer that would be responsible for looking the shit up and putting it into the right registers for the ASIC to basically run through and do the math.
Right.
So it's going to be a lot more expensive because of the amount of memory and the speed of memory that you're needing. Because it's not just the speed of the memory; it's the quantity. That's why the 1060 6 gigabyte card just decimates the 4 gigabyte version. So I think there's still a couple things that need to happen before that becomes mainstream. Plus, the other thing you have to factor in is even if they do build this ASIC, they're going to be selling it for whatever the current profitability of the currency is to the mainstream market, and then everybody in China that's running the big mines is basically going to get them wholesale, so they can corner the market. Same thing happened with Bitcoin when ASICs came out on the market.
So Ruben,
it'll be a while.
So Ruben in Super Chat says, how come we don't see more cases come with USB Type-C ports?
Cost.
Yeah, the cost of the actual module itself is not cheap. But here's my take on this. Other than USB Type-C, like storage devices and stuff, peripherals are not going to USB Type-C because of, again, cost. And then 2, you limit your customer base to only those people who have USB Type-C on their case. So I feel like both are kind of waiting on the other to sort of mainstream it.
Yeah, it's a bit of a standoff. Yeah. The other thing to look at, too, is, anybody right now that has USB-C, count the number of USB-C devices you have versus the number of regular USB devices you have, and do the math on how many ports of which one you need. Now, I understand that people that have USB-C, like I have it right now, like obviously on my phone, and I have it on my my Ultrabook, and that's it. And for me, it's not that big of a deal. Not that I make that final decision, but a lot of new motherboards, if they support it, they have back panel. You could get like a hub if you wanted to. Up until recently, a lot of motherboards didn't even have front panel USB-C connectors. So where I go with that is everybody that said that we should have had Lightning and front panel I/O. It's like, where would we be now if we just ramped up a bunch of those? So it's not a never thing. We are offering it, obviously. It's an upgrade kit for the R6 that is coming. But the thing is, when you look at it, when we do the market research, the number of people that want it versus the number of people that have it, or more importantly, would pay the additional cost for it, there's a big delta there. So it tends to be one of those vocal minority things. Like, obviously, people that haven't want to make use of it, I want to plug my phone into my case or whatever, charge it from my case. It just boils down to the market is still 80%. We still get crap because some of our cases are USB 3.0 only. We've had 2.0 and 3.0. And some people bitch that it's not just all 3.0 and USB-C. Other people are like, how come I have to have 2 USB 3.0 ports and they can't just all be backwards compatible to USB 2.0 because my motherboard's old?
Yeah.
Yeah, and there are some serious compatibility issues between USB 3.0 and 3.1 and 2.0. Like, not every device out there followed the specification close enough without any hacks or anything like that to where you just plug it in and it works. I've had webcams before that fucking flip out when you plug them in the USB 3.0. I've had audio devices, my mixer board, shit like that doesn't like being plugged into USB 3. Now, again, it probably is more dependent on the controller that I'm using, but it's still like a real issue. I think that having both options available is still critically important if you have a bunch of USB devices.
Well, that's the other thing. If you look at the link in the chain, so to speak, it's they plugged it into the case, it doesn't work. It's the case's USB port that's screwed up. It's not the controller. They don't. There's a lot of times people don't go that far down the line and then you catch the flack for it. You get an RMA issue on something that's still perfectly functioning. And who's this guy? He works for Fractal. Yeah, it's JayzTwoCents. He has a YouTube
Same shit happened at Microsoft all the time, too. They'd call and be like, oh, shit, Windows keeps popping up this error message. It must be a problem with Windows. No, it's a problem with the fucking device. It's a problem with the hardware. It's a problem with the driver. Nobody thinks about that. They're just like, oh, it's not working, and Windows is showing me the dialogue, so let's call Microsoft.
And we try to intercept that as much as possible. In all of our shipments, we have like hey, if there's an issue with your case, call us. It has the phone number for our tech support, email, and that sort of thing. Because like if you get a case and there's a foot broken off of it or something like that, we understand that's part of your build. You want to get your build done. You don't want to wait to ship it back and get a new one or run back across town or whatever. A lot of times we can ship you that part, but the thing is, you have to contact us. And a lot of times, unfortunately, what happens is people are like, oh, it's broke, screw it, fire it back to Newegg or whatever. And it might have been something that was still fully functioning, or they could have done their build. We could have got a part out to them. But again, you don't always get that chance to talk to everybody. We try to drive that as much as we can. But.
No,
Gunner said, there's a huge difference between USB. Is there a huge difference between USB 3.0 and 3.1? Yeah, about double the speed.
Yeah, and I saw a comment that went by earlier that said, why is USB-C Type-C so expensive? Because it's new.
Yeah, it's availability. Yeah. I mean, if you look at the way like production works, the more you make of something, the cheaper it is. Because tooling costs that are required for, obviously we're not in there making our own actual USB-C ports or 3 ports. There's a supplier that supplies those because that's what they do. They do it very well, and they can do it at an economical price because that's what they're geared up to do. So the more you make of it, the lower the overall cost. You know, that's why McDonald's burgers are a lot cheaper than going to a sit-down restaurant.
God,
So-
it's either PEPCAC or ID10T.
Yeah. Plus the bandwidth. The bandwidth you get over USB 3.1 is insane. It's 10 gig, right?
Jerry, I don't think Jerry caught that though. The
PEPCAC.
being PEPCAC, right? Problem exists between keyboard and chair. And then
I haven't heard that in a long time.
And then the ID10T error, and it's like, what's that? Write it down.
Yeah,
and it spells idiot.
ID10T.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean,
Idiot
so
error.
that basically the thing, it comes back to supply and demand. Anything brand new is going to cost more. So, you know, it's one of those things where obviously there's still a huge market for USB 3.0 for the reasons that I explained. It's like if you count the number of, you know, USB 3.0, 2.0, those are backwards compatible, but, you know, depending on your internal header. But if you look at that physical port, the number of devices there's in the market are created right now that use that versus how many are USB-C. USB-C is probably not even 1%, you know.
Plus, there's other perks there, too, because USB, I think it's USB 3.0. It's not just 3.1, but I believe it's bidirectional power, if I'm not mistaken, too, where you can actually pull power from a device like a cell phone, not just send power to it. It's not one direction.
I honestly don't know. I'm not that up to speed on it.
Because I know on my new Razer phone that I got, and somebody confirmed that this happens on just about all the new USB-C type Android phones, is you can basically, when you connect the USB device to it, say I connect the USB-C cable between the phone and another device, I can literally select whether I want it to be a power source for the other device or whether I want it to be a data connection between the first device and the second device.
So if you had your phone and like an Ultrabook, you could have the Ultrabook charge the phone or the phone charge the Ultrabook.
Exactly. So, I mean, it's got some really, really cool features that don't exist in the previous generations of USB. Plus, does anybody have to pay licensing or is it an open technology?
Honestly, that'd probably be a question for product developers. I don't know.
Okay, because I know Thunderbolt, if you use Thunderbolt, which is essentially USB 3.0, just a different protocol, Thunderbolt, you have to pay a licensing fee, I believe, to Intel, don't you? That's why most people don't have like Thunderbolt ports on the side of shit because they have to pay a bunch of money for it.
That could be. I mean, because like Apple, did Apple own FireWire or is FireWire just the one they preferred?
FireWire was Apple's version of the 1394 protocol.
Yeah. So it's kind of like that was their marketing brand version of it. So I think it's the same thing. Like this is a 1394 port. You mean FireWire? No, we didn't really pay for the.
Yeah, except for in their case, it was the exact same protocol. They literally just locked down the name so nobody else could use it.
Just like Centrino, it's like well, it's Wi-Fi. Well, exactly. It's a certain controller in Wi-Fi. I saw someone asked about they want to get into like the hardware market. It's really like any market. I mean, this is going to sound like a dick thing to say, but it's like go to school, get your degree, and just start applying at places in the industry. I mean, as far as I know, there's not really a trick to getting into tech. I mean, it's kind of like Jay, like you kind of got into tech in the sense that you're already working in tech. Your YouTube channel's in tech because that's what you focused on. So it's kind of the same sort of thing. It's, you know, apply at places, I guess. If you're looking for, from the currency, it looked like you're based in the UK, but I'm not sure. But like if you're in the US, it's like get comfortable with wanting to live in California if you're in hardware. Basically, the Silicon Valley for the hardware side of things for most of us is right around LA. You know, City of Industry, places like that. That's where a lot of the vendors are at. Also up around.
And if they're not down here, they're up in the Bay Area.
Yeah, Fremont. Yeah, exactly. So if it's something like that, you got to be flexible there. The other thing is it really just depends on what you want to do. You know, maybe go to events if you get to know somebody. But I mean, some of these companies are so large that, you know, hey, I know a guy at Intel. Well, there's, you know, how tens of thousands to choose from. That's not actually going to be an in. But it's kind of like anything else. Like, how do you get into HR in an industry? You have to start applying in the industry.
Yeah. Hardware requires a lot more startup capital, though, to mobilize something, because you basically have to design something, tool it up, put it through iterations. I mean, you guys probably do the same thing, but you probably do a lot of it in-house now. But still, it's a lot more money than a service.
I think a lot of people don't understand, too, is current hardware is based entirely off licensing somebody else's product. For instance, all, you know, EVGA, MSI, Gigabyte, Zotac, every single GPU manufacturer out there is based their entire business off NVIDIA or AMD if they do both and haven't signed up for GPP yet or whatever. But you know, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, now you're having to pay royalty and or, you know, cost of units you have to buy from NVIDIA to even run your business. The yield on that, or the markup on that, is extremely narrow. So the only way you can make any money is to sell like thousands and thousands of them to make any money. Like I think
make differentiated models, like, you know, your upgraded cards, your new coolers, your stuff like that.
So most of
higher margin items.
Most of these companies that do GPUs and stuff, they make most of their money around the mid-range to low end. I think the number I had heard back when like the 1080s first came out, before the 1080 Ti, but the 1080 was that they were making anywhere between $15 to $20 per card. That was what they were making. Of course, they're like, we got to pay our employees, our insurances, our overhead, our cost of operation and stuff. But the thing is, they make somewhere like the same $20 to $25 on that at the time $160 card versus making $20 on the $500 card. And there's more people buying the $160 cards. So same thing with motherboards. You're entirely dependent on the business of Intel or AMD or whoever CPU you're basing it on, and you've got to pay again those companies the rights to even create a product for those particular brands. So and
the chipsets and the standards around it, and the memory you support and everything. It's all standards.
And the irony is, Intel and stuff can't exist without the motherboard manufacturers, right? I mean, they have their Intel branded motherboard, but unless you're doing like massive enterprise solutions, most people don't run those.
There's an upside to that. Like when you are, an add-in board partners, which is what you call like an EVGA or MSI on the video.
Anyone not
side.
NVIDIA or AMD.
Yeah. The benefits you have is like in theory, you've got NVIDIA doing all the work, all the research, creating the GPUs for you. But at the same point in time, you've still got to find a way if you want to eke out more performance or create your own version of that you got to work with. So it's like they're shouldering a lot of the cost, but then again, that's why they also shoulder a lot of the profit. And you're kind of left with what you can make. And then I can only imagine how difficult it'd be to be in, the motherboard field or the graphics card field where the pace is so fast and it's like, for example, the 2080 is going to be out whenever, if that's actually going to come out, that's what it's going to be called. It's like they're working on that and then the next thing. And it's like they got to get that out and then just boom, right on to the next version.
And heaven forbid you don't have a recall. Because unless you are a huge business like Samsung or something like that, there's no way you're going to absorb it. It'll just kill you instantly.
Well, and like motherboards, right? Like, so say you're Asus, it's like, you're working on the Intel version and the AMD version at the same time. Then you got to work on your different, we want to have our, our Rampage 6 all the way down to our baseline so we can have a product portfolio that can address multiple customers. Like you said, when you're looking at like the 1080 Ti versus the 1050, to iterate on that many products, support for that many products, the logistics of just shipping and creating that many products, it's mind-boggling.
Yeah. Somebody actually made a good point over here. Was it Christian? He said, no, there's currently high margins on all GPUs right now. Well, the thing you got to realize, though, is those margin increases are going to the retailers, not to the manufacturers.
So manufacturers did increase cost a little bit, but like 5%. We did the math when we've been doing more pre-built systems lately because they make more sense to buy. They make more. If you're looking for a whole new system from the ground up, it makes more sense to buy a pre-built because you can get it cheaper than building it by yourself now because of the cost of GPUs and memory and all that stuff alone. And fortunately, these builders like NZXT and Exotic PC and CyberPower and iBuyPower and all of them, they get to basically keep the same, fairly close to the same price they always got them for because they get special deals from the manufacturers.
They're also not buying one at a time,
But when we were pricing out to see if we could do it, I was like, what the heck? They said that the GPUs were, like NZXT specifically, there was a 1080 Ti in that build. And I think it said the 1080 Ti was like $729 or something, or $789, something like that. I can't remember the number. And I was like, what the hell? They said these were supposed to be MSRP. And then I go and I look at EVGA, and there was indeed a price increase at the level of EVGA as well. But it was it was like 5%. Versus some of these other manufacturers that are upwards of 100% price increase.
Well, and basic business is a balancing act. You don't want to have a surplus and you don't want to have a shortage. Ideally, if you're selling 10 video cards a day, you want to have 10 sitting in your warehouse so you're always just streamlined. Because, that stuff's like lettuce. It sits on the shelf too long, it spoils, it loses value.
But I can guarantee you right now, the Fry's Electronics, Newegg, Best Buy actually has been keeping things pretty close to MSRP, but that's why their shelves are empty. Micro Center, these inflated nasty prices you were seeing is straight up the retail supply and demand.
And that's one of those things that's like, maybe is it a dick move? Yeah.
And they're pocketing the money, and of course, NVIDIA and AMD and EVGA and Gigabyte and all of them are taking the rap for it. But,
Well, and the thing is, like, why don't they just make more video cards? It's like, okay, there's a certain amount of ramp-up time, there's cost issues there. But that's like saying, like, if you're dead, why doesn't the U.S. just print more money?
Memory.
That's what I was just going to say. We have been in a worldwide memory shortage for 2 years. 2 years. And that's why RAM prices are high. That's why that's why they can't even ramp up to make more graphics cards if they wanted. Because they can't, they don't even, there is a shortage of memory chips to put on the damn PCBs.
So you can build a house, but we have no windows, so.
Right, and memory has an incredibly high failure rate,
like
even more so than CPU dies.
But we have no roof.
Yeah,
You know?
it's like I'd be willing to bet that like 1 out of 5 chips in manufacturing actually meets the specifications. It doesn't get crunched up, recycled, and pushed through the system again.
Now, would you say that like the current GPU price is part of like a perfect storm as far as like the RAM shortages plus the spike with mining? It's not just a single factor, but
I think it's multiple factors, but I think it's mining is primary, and that's coming from somebody who mines himself. I mean, it's pretty clear
Jerry's
that the GPU. Yeah, I'm the devil.
Jerry's the devil.
They're in lockstep. Whenever you see Ethereum or Bitcoin start to spike, you see the cost of GPUs go up. When the price starts to come down, you start to see a drop. It's a slower drop, but you definitely see it in lockstep with the market, and that pretty much tells you that people are buying the GPUs at profitability. Because the way, as a miner, what you do is you look at it and say, okay, if I have to pay $1,200 for a 1080, unlike a gamer where you're like, fuck that, why is the card cost twice as much? I'm not buying that. The miner's looking at it and saying, can I recoup the total cost of that card at current market value and difficulty within 6 months? And if the answer is yes, they don't care if they're paying $500 million for that graphics card, and they're planning the card pays for itself and becomes free and just starts printing money.
The reality is the
period.
card is a money-making tool, and,
it is,
and that costs money. But here, I want to comment on this. Blackhawk 1703. I think he was just being facetious, and he said,
he's down.
Black Hawk. Black Hawk.
Sorry.
Black
The way you said it, it was just, oh my god, it was perfect.
Okay, Black Hawk.
Michael Hunt is in
1703 says, make more memory, duh. I'm pretty sure he's being sarcastic. That opens up a whole nother discussion, because there's a lot of speculation that these memory manufacturers like Hynix and Samsung and all of them making these chips, they are intentionally not ramping up. We don't know whether or not they can, or if they are the ones just straight up profiting by keeping the supply and demand where it's at. So it's like, do you incur more cost to ramp up production, open up more factories, whatever, more raw materials, or do you just raise the cost of the current production and that's just straight profit?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of speculation on whether or not the actual ground zero for all of this is Samsung and Hynix.
Well, it's like work hard for the money or not work hard for the money. Real quick, R6 Gunmetal TG, it's released now if you're in the U.S. You had them as of yesterday. I think
we could use one this week.
Yeah, I think the other thing is that there's a ripple effect in the industry, right? If people are building less computers, buying less GPUs, they're buying less cases. Yeah,
a butterfly flapped its wings too hard in Tahiti and made a.
If you can't get a GPU, you're not going to buy the rest of the system, right? So this screws everybody.
Yeah. So I mean, I wouldn't say like, oh god, we're hurting as bad as everybody else, but it's like you do see that.
But see, here we go again. James Reeves, if this is true, says Hynix can't ramp up due to capacitor shortage.
So then when the capacitor shortage can't ramp up because there's not enough sand or something.
They can't ramp up because the machines they need to make this shit is not enough RAM to go around to build the machines to make the shit. So it's like a perpetuating cycle of shortage.
Yeah, there's always a problem somewhere in the supply, right? I mean, there's always going to be, but they also had what was it a couple of years ago, like a year or two ago, the main chip manufacturer like burned down, like their entire complex like burned to the ground. I'm sure they probably rebuilt it by now.
Yeah, I know, but that was NAND. I thought that was NAND that caused that problem.
Oh, was that just the NAND?
It could be
so
memory,
that doesn't affect GPU.
But I thought that was a NAND factory. I could be wrong though.
Can I come work for you, Josh? You like working for free?
God, you really want to do that?
I have a coworker here.
Unpaid internship.
Yo, hi.
Yeah, unpaid internships are all the rage at Microsoft. Jump on that.
Most places don't even want to do those because of the liability, like the insurance liability. If someone's hanging out, in your office, like, hey, don't worry about paying me, and then they trip and fall or they claim something.
Unpaid internships aren't legal in California. You have to pay.
Really?
Yeah, in California, interns have to be paid.
Nick, get a lawyer.
So then it's like, so then intern isn't even like really a thing. You know what I mean? It's just a paid trainee. Like intern technically is just trainee now in California.
Well, and that's kind of thing. It's like I would be down to have people to work with to bounce ideas off of, because I mean, for all intents and purposes, pretty much Anna and I are all of North American marketing for Fractal Design. So it's like you realize like how much we're working.
So Abe Lincoln in the chat, 7 years ago, I
thought that guy was dead.
He asks, are they investigating RAM price fixing? Who's they? First of all, this stuff is all in Asia, right? So what is the United States?
That's the Wild Wild West, you guys. Okay, in China, that's the Wild Wild West. They don't even follow copyright laws or anything, and they steal all the product designs and shit. And it's totally fine with their government. So yeah, that's Wild Wild West over there. Nobody's making anybody do anything over there.
Yeah. So I mean, the shortages can all be pinpointed to various things. But it's the increase in smart technology that's in everything now. Cars, obviously mining, smartphones, shit, your TVs, your DVD players, everything is smart now. It has microprocessors and memory and stuff in it. And this is what one of the manufacturers was telling me. And it's just the things using tech now and smart tech, like they're intelligent tech.
A smart refrigerator.
The smarter. Yeah, but that's true, right? Samsung has a TV, or LG has a TV fridge. Samsung has a TV fridge. So
you have these new markets that are gobbling up supply that you never foresaw. You know?
Exactly. And the thing
has the word smart on it. It's consuming stuff. Yeah.
And that's the thing is now it's just we have to see how the manufacturing side of it increases.
And then you go to the argument of, and I'm not taking a side on this, but it's like obviously everybody's going to be outraged if they don't get whatever they need for their sector. But it's like, okay, what's more important, a refrigerator or somebody playing video games? Well, they're both important to a certain degree, but it's like the refrigerator doesn't have to be smart to work. True. You also don't need a 1080 Ti to play a video game, right? And I've got two of them in my system. I don't need that level, right? Like, am I being a dick?
Yeah, fucking play NetHack, dude.
But you know what, though? I feel like the vast majority of viewers consuming these videos and stuff, they don't really broaden their view.
Kind of externalize.
They don't really look at this through a lens of the big picture. Yeah. They're very granular to like, well, I want my GPU so I can play my Fortnite. You know, they don't think about the big picture happening in the world. So of course they're angry because they're very like 1 degree narrow.
But that's a very natural thing, right? Everyone's like, you're going to internalize what's happening to you, you know, and it's like. And it's not to say that one is more important than the other, but it's like when you look at the mining thing, it's like, okay, you're using yours to play video games. I'm actually going to make money and help support my family with mine. Mine's more important because now my kid gets to eat. Or, I mean, if you want to take those arguments to the extreme. So it's like there's no right answer to that. It's an opinion. You know, what's more important?
And let me give you an example, though, of tech that's cool, but it's causing this problem as a whole. My wife the other day was telling me about this fridge that will actually tell you everything that's in the fridge.
Don't you have a smart microwave?
I don't even have I have a microwave, but we have a smart oven.
The Williams-Sonoma thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So anyway, the fridge will actually tell you what's in there, when it's going to expire, and can like auto order it through like Amazon or whatever.
Grocery or whatever.
And can like auto order it and stuff. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that's neat tech. But the industry is not able to meet the demands of this type of stuff.
Well, then you look at the nothing's altruistic, but it's like, hey, that's going to reduce food shortages or food spoilage or whatever, right? So.
Yeah, but I mean, it's
you don't want.
Yeah, you won't. It's just like I'll go back to the. You go back to the
it's
fridge
just
for the
order
fourth
like 20
time.
gallons of milk off Amazon.
I don't think the audience understands like how the level of like strings that had to be pulled just to get these 3 GPUs from ASUS. I mean, for the GPU giveaway that we're doing. If you guys don't know, go back and look a few videos back on my channel. I'm giving away 3 graphics cards, a 1080, 1070, and a 1060. But the thing is, my initial email about like, hey guys, want to do a collaborative giveaway just to give someone a chance to have a GPU? Shit. I used to get people asking me every day for free GPUs.
Yeah.
Now I'm getting asked just if they can buy
MSRP.
one.
Yeah.
Can I just buy one for MSRP, please?
Yeah.
So the what the very first email response I got was. And it was actually Brian that reached out, right? Brian, who does all the brand management and stuff here.
Okay.
Brian had reached out, and the initial response was, "We're fairly certain Jay has more GPUs than us right now."
Let me look through that. Yeah, I could agree. 1, 2, 17, 12, 11, 4. Yeah.
But I stopped asking for GPUs for builds and stuff too, though. Like we just use.
I could literally sell the GPUs out of my mining rig and pay for the mining rig. That's like how much they're worth now.
Yeah, except that was sponsored, so you won't do that.
No, I can't do that.
But I mean, that's the thing. That's where you kind of also have to go back and rethink what you're going to do, right? I mean, when prices go higher, it's like you get much more critical on what you're going to do. It's like, hey, do I really need 2 video cards?
CHZA giveaway link? ? If you want it, you'll go find it yourself. And I'm gonna do all the legwork for you too.
So Josh, one of the interesting things though is even if I do, I just said I could sell the graphics card and pay for the machine. Well, the other point with mining on a machine when you're not using it for other things, just basically that machine is already paid for all 8 of the GPUs and half the price of the additional components, just mining.
Yeah.
So it's like a lot of people, when they talk about, oh my God, you're mining, if you mine on your computer at all, it's a part of the problem. It's like, no, but you don't realize is every moment that I'm not gaming on the computer, it's basically working itself into giving me that graphics card for free or the entire computer over time, provided things go according to
or
plan.
Offset
And a
your
lot of people don't look at
bill,
that.
Offset your
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the thing. Like, you know, the mining has the stigma right now, and I'm not going to say I'm in support of it or I'm not or whatever. Honestly, I don't give a crap.
You're like, I'm going to stay the fuck away from this.
Yeah, but I mean, for most people, honestly, if you had an opportunity, like, hey, you can probably get some money by doing absolutely nothing. You know, like it won't impact you when you're, you know, you don't have to sit there and, you know, type on your keyboard. You don't have to crunch. You don't have to stop gaming. But hey, while you're off at work, would you like to earn an extra 10, 30, 40 bucks, whatever it turns out to be?
My complaint about the mining never ever included the people who have their rigs and stuff at home, turning them on and making money on
because that becomes a gray area, right?
That's
like right now it's a polarizing, you're a gamer or you're a miner. Like, what if you're both?
And it's probably devil's advocate for me to say that's fine, but not the guys buying 1,500 GPUs. What I have said very publicly, and I have to keep clarifying it because people want to apply their own opinions on an opinion, right? Is that the guys that are out there buying direct from manufacturers, hundreds at a time, are indeed causing the problem at the retail level.
Yeah.
And that's my opinion on that. That's never going to change. I mean, I'm sorry, you grab up inventory before it ever makes it to the retail consumer or to the retail shelf. You have indeed created the supply and demand problem.
And, you know, like Nope Not saying, like, mining itself isn't the devil. It's people buying hundreds of cards at a time. And that goes for anything. You know, it's like anybody who, you know, monopolizes a certain resource, you're going to have that issue.
And yes, I understand it sounds like I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth when I say, you know, Joe Blow with his 5 GPUs can make some money, but this guy shouldn't buy 1,500.
Yeah, what's the threshold for being a dick?
I understand exactly how hypocritical that sounds. But my statement about, the tweet I put up last weekend, about this, you know, look at all these boxes. This is the problem. You know, that's the problem with the supply and demand. Is exactly what I'm stating. So.
And the thing is, at the end of the day, it all still comes down to opinions, right? Like, who thinks what's wrong? Because they're not, you know,
right.
Neither side is doing anything intrinsically wrong. They're doing what's in their best interest or in their prime interest. So.
And they're doing it exactly, you know. We know that they go direct to the manufacturers to buy this stuff. We know they have backdoor deals going on with Gigabyte and MSI and all of them, because MSI and Gigabyte don't have to share they don't have to middleman it down with the retail and take less money. So if they could sell it direct and get to keep all of that markup, then they win. So it's
their job to move inventory. That's like literally their only job and purpose on Earth is to make the numbers go up and make the shareholders happy.
Yeah.
They don't care how they do it.
Especially when you look at like a highly competitive market that's generally very low margin.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think it's time to start wrapping this up. We've got an hour and a half. I got to get home to the kids and stuff. So, guys, like I said, I do have that giveaway that's going, well, is live. It's going until April 1st. I know it's a terrible day to announce a winner, but I swear to God, it's not an April Fool's prank. I know, terrible day. I thought about that later, but so go and watch our last video if you want to see Josh's build. Stay tuned tomorrow. We'll be putting up a follow-up to that, where mistakes were made and
something might have happened. Clickbait title.
Dun dun dun. And then tomorrow I am actually filming, finally, Little J building her computer upgrade. So cool. Her last build she built when she was 5. She's turning 9. It's lasted almost 4 years, and it is severely dated given the games that she's trying to play now. So she's finally. I gave her an ultimatum. I said, I'm not building your computer. And I've been teasing her.
And you also told her to move out.
Yeah, I was like,
is it still gonna have like 2 Titan XPs and 128 gig of RAM just to troll people?
No, of course not.
Damn.
But I was debating putting it. I actually said publicly I was going to put a Titan X in her machine, but I'm not.
Do it.
I'm not because it will clash with the color theme. It is very color themed. But I'll probably end up putting the 1080 like Galax card in there because it's white and it's a white and pink build. But so parenting 101, I told her that I will not build her a new computer until she brings me home a straight A report card, because she was always
awesome.
like not screwing around in class, but she was not applying herself like I knew she could. And you know, she had a little attitude and smart mouth and stuff. And I was like, hey, as long as you're acting like this, you're acting like a little brat to your parents and your sister, and you're not bringing me home a straight A report card, there's no reason for me to build you a new computer. So she earned it. She brought home straight A report card 2 trimesters in a row, and so
well done, kiddo.
Yep.
Hey Jay, speaking of kiddos,
that's the parenting we need now. Internet.
It is, and luckily I got a kid that literally doesn't ever talk back to me. Speaking of which, you mind if Xander comes up and says goodbye to everybody, because it's his birthday today.
Yeah.
And he loves the internet.
I thought his birthday was tomorrow. No, it's today.
No, it's today.
Oh,
today.
I must have read an old.
29.
I must have read an old tweet then.
Yeah, we're not having his party until next week because all of his friends couldn't get together today and everything, and plus I'm sick. But yeah, we let him open some presents and stuff. He's super duper happy. Let me see if he can run up here really quick. Hold on.
Okay. Yeah. Also, I see that Cape Hike stopped in. So Cape Hike Fashion. Hello, the body painter.
Yeah,
does that crazy stuff. Ooh, have her paint us. Can you imagine how horrible that'd be for everybody?
You know what would suck? Right at stare at a picture of us.
You know how much paint she would need?
Well, just for me.
It'd be like a roller.
I mean, nobody should have to stare at a picture of us that long to paint us.
I just got a little sick thinking about it.
Go have us right there. Get the big one chair now. Hold on, don't say nothing yet because they're talking. Here, I'm gonna put on the headset.
Do you want to?
Here, come here, bud.
Can I put on the headset?
Here, I will. Sit right here.
Yeah, and can you also make me have silly voices?
He wants silly voices. No, let's use your voice. Here, just say hi to everybody and tell them how old you are.
Okay. Hi everybody, my name is Xander, and today is my birthday, and I have, and today is March 29th.
I had to look.
And what? You having a good birthday?
Yep, I'm having a good birthday, and I had dirt cups at school today.
Ooh, those are delicious. All right, tell everybody that you're really happy at your birthday, and you got to go, because we're going to go play some Forza.
I'm really happy, but I gotta go, and also I got some presents.
Xander, can you hear me?
What?
Tell Jerry to give you a silly voice.
What do you say?
Dad, give me silly voices.
You want silly voices? Okay, hold on.
Okay.
Hold on, here you go. All right.
Okay. Okay.
It sounds like a woman.
You're out of control, kiddo. Okay, tell everybody bye-bye, because we're going to wrap up the stream.
Bye-bye.
All right, buddy, head downstairs. I'll come down and play some Forza with you here in just a little bit, okay? That's his favorite game. That's why we're going to play it on his birthday. All right. Squeeze around. Squeeze around, kiddo.
I also saved some dirt cups.
Oh, thank you. Did he just say you saved some dick cups? Did you mean dirt cups?
Dirt cups.
Yeah.
I heard dirt. Cups.
I heard dirt, you bastard.
I heard dick cups. I was like, I would have eaten it either way, though, to be honest.
Gotta make a living somehow.
Gotta make a living somehow.
Okay, I'm
gonna go
ahead and roll the outro.
All right, roll it.
It's already rolling.
All right.
TikTok 157. We talked about whatever things. Josh from Fractal Design sold out his products and avoided taking a stance on anything, so he didn't piss off people on social media. Thanks for watching. Till next week, or the week after, whenever Jay decides to do this shit. Later.
At least he took a stance. Like, no stance is a stance.
Yes, exactly.
No stance is a stance.